Content warning. The stories and themes shared throughout this podcast may contain themes that can be distressing for you. If needed, please pause and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. If needed, please reach out to a mental health professional for support.
Welcome back to another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana. But today we're also joined by Molly the cat. We're joined by Dr. Tasha Faruqui and the one and only Soraya. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello.
I love this. So who the heck are you guys? So Dr. Tasha Faruqui, we met in an Uber in the pouring rain in LA. I had sliced my finger open on an umbrella. Alana and I were rushing to record a podcast, and we had a fast and furious bonding session. And throughout the next day or so, we just immediately built this beautiful friendship. And I just was like, you and your daughter need to be in our next book. We need to have you on our podcast. And here we are. So who is Dr. Tasha Faruqui? She's a pediatrician, speaker, advocate, and author of Keep Your Head Up, A Mother's Story of Chasing Joy in the Face of Grief. Inspired by her father, a doctor to an underserved rural community, Tasha joined the National Health Service Corps after medical school. However, her focus shifted when her daughter, Soraya, was born with a rare genetic disorder. Tasha is a passionate advocate for parents of medically complex children and those experiencing anticipatory grief, regularly sharing her message of hope at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Make-A-Wish events, and on Instagram at the Faruqui 5. The link is in the bio. She was named a top doctor by Cincinnati Magazine in 2022, 24, 25. What the heck happened to 23? I want to recount.
It was a rough year.
Yeah. And her link to connect to tashafaruqui.com is in the show notes below. And then we have her daughter, Soraya.
Yeah.
She is a 13-year-old, and she is a kind, trendy girlie who loves so many things. It's almost impossible to list them all. She loves makeup, nail design, graphic novels, dolls, and games on her iPad and computer. Her favorite games are Toca Boca? Did I say that right?
Toca Boca World.
Toca Boca World and SIMS.
I
am
Sims.
too old to know what that means, but that sounds fun. And she also loves hanging out with her family and friends. She was born with a rare genetic disease that impacts the TAOK1 gene. Little is known about the disease, however, for Soraya. It's a progressive and it's similar to ALS. She's currently in hospice and making the best out of every moment. She is most proud of her job at the youth equity as a youth equity ambassador, where she connects with other individuals with disabilities across the world and advocates for accessible spaces. And we are so honored to have both of you here today. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. And Soraya, I just have to say, I love The Sims. When I was your age, I played The Sims, and now it's been many, many years. But a few years ago, maybe during the pandemic, I tried downloading it for my computer. So The Sims is the best.
She should probably play with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you want to tell her?
It's the Sims 4 ones is a little bit more newer.
Okay. And you can play with people on this version?
No, you just need to come over, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've
Okay.
got all the new packs.
Okay, well, on our way to
Jealous.
Cincinnati we go.
Yes.
Yes.
I love this. So I guess let's start with a check-in. How are we doing today?
Okay, right now I'm nervous because I'm always nervous when there's events. I don't know why. I just do.
You're allowed to be. That's a fair feeling.
Makes sense.
What about you, Tasha?
Yeah.
I am feeling grateful in this moment. Today was a day that Soraya's sisters were off of school for the holiday break. So it was like the first time in a long time that we were all in one space. And I think that Soraya can talk about that more. But I think there are times where when she's home and her sisters are like off and about, that it feels kind of lonely. But today the house felt full and it felt great.
Yeah, what did you do today? How did you spend it with your sisters?
Okay, so I think we kind of like were spaced out, but also kind of in the same area. Like we talked a little bit, but not as much.
I agree. They each do their own activities, but I was still grateful to be in the same room.
Yeah.
I guess that is what's bringing us joy in this moment. It
Yeah.
wasn't like that.
That's so lovely. And, you know, Blair and I call that parallel play, where when
Totally.
we get
Totally.
together, sometimes we're just together and we're doing our own thing, but it's nice to be in the same room. And it sounds like that's what it was like for you today, Soraya.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Soraya, maybe I'll just ask you some questions, and Alana and I can take turns.
Hmm.
And you can ask us questions. We want this to be a conversation, right? So maybe let's talk about, do you want to talk about Mr. Main?
Sure,
Let's,
definitely.
so why don't you tell us who Mr. Main is?
So he is, I think he's one of my friends, like from around school area. We spent a lot of time together, so yeah.
Yep. So he was a teacher at your school, but he wasn't like her teacher. And so you met him in fifth grade
In sixth grade,
and sixth grade.
trying to
And
remember.
yeah, what did he do for you when you'd go into the school?
I think like we would be between like the elevator and then he'll be in his classroom. Yeah,
Hmm.
between those two.
And then when you'd come to the elevator, what would he do?
I don't like it's so funny.
It's so funny. He would open the door and make sure she got in the elevator. And then what would he say?
You say I'm too uncomfortable.
Going down.
Going down.
Yes.
That's fun. So you had someone who you connected with at school. And
Definitely.
and was he your teacher or a teacher at the school that
So
you sometimes met?
he was a teacher at my school, but wasn't my teacher specifically.
Ah,
Because at the school they have like different wings, and I was in the orange wing, but he taught in the white wing, and but before I think year was like he was taught in the red wing, but then switching to the white wing. So
okay. How did you meet Mr. Mean? Like, do you remember your
um,
first time meeting?
I think it was like between to like
The hallway.
the hallway.
Yep, he just saw her coming down, and then just this became a trend of him opening the door for her. And then it was always with a piece of advice. So it always was like
Yeah.
a motivation, like, what will you do today that is great?
Yeah, and then
And then it turned into candy too, right? You didn't even tell me about the candy until later.
he would yeah, so I would be in his classroom. I would guess like jokes or like anything or hints. And so if I get it correctly, or he just let me grab a piece of candy and I'm like, and then my babysitter will be like, "Hey, I just got candy."
Just got a whole stash of candy in her bag.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
this is
It's
how their
it was like
relationship went.
it was kind of like one candy at a time. It
Yes,
wasn't like
all at once.
not at one, all
Yeah.
at once.
But it was a
So,
hard time at school for you, as far as like bullying and things like that. So I felt like he was like your best
The
friend.
only nice one.
Yeah,
Not the teachers.
he was like, yeah, he was like your person.
Yeah, it sounds like you felt safe with him.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's so important at especially like the grade 5, 6 age to find a safe adult, especially if you're experiencing bullying, which sucks.
And it
Yeah.
was like her first time bringing her vent to school.
Mm.
And her health was really changing at that time. And so she was constantly trying to share with the school and the staff that things were changing, and they had a hard time believing you, which
Mm.
made it more challenging. But the person that always believed in you was Mr. Main. And in the year between fifth and sixth grade, she was too fatigued to go to school anymore. But the only thing that made her want to go was to see Mr. Main. So we arranged to do lunch every week.
I think every Friday.
Every Friday, that's right.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
so you moved to do homeschooling?
Yeah, I transitioned to it. I think it was a lot, many reasons to it. Like it was just like a lot of like my ex-best friends were there and like a lot of like I just didn't like because like at school I would say something and they would look at me weirdly. So I kind of just didn't want to go through that again or risk it again.
And then same with like eating, your mouth was getting more tired,
Hmm.
chewing, so she would have to eat with her mouth open.
And then people got disgust of it.
Yeah. And so we knew that Mr. Main didn't mind. And
Mm.
so he was totally fine with that. And so the two of you actually even ate in like a little bit away from where everybody else ate, just because we knew that Soraya would be very self-conscious about it.
So that's amazing that you had him, and that's absolutely terrible that you were bullied, and also that you got so tired that it was just hard to go to school. Um, so how long were you going to visit Mr. Main and meeting him for lunch?
So I think it was like at every Friday. So like I would like one of our boosters would go to the cafeteria, then get the food, and then they, of course, they have to pay real money for it for
Yeah,
the,
real money.
and then they would give it to us. And so,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did it for the whole sixth grade year. Fifth
yes,
grade, they saw each other every day and in between classes, but
yes.
sixth grade was just dedicated once a week lunches. And then the summer after sixth grade, and Soraya's in seventh grade right now, is when
No, not, I thought it was in eighth grade.
you're in eighth grade. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're in eighth grade now. But it was summer after sixth grade that we found out that he got sick.
Yeah, I got into the coma situation.
Yeah. Do you remember what he was diagnosed with that nobody knew?
I think it was like a unknown lupus, and like
Yes, he had
when,
lupus, but
yeah,
nobody
yeah.
knew that he had lupus. And he was,
Yeah, he wasn't very close to his parents, and like his parents were like, "Don't tell anybody that he was in hospice. Like, don't really tell anybody, or else they would yell at her." And so like it was just
there
not
was
great,
yeah, there's a lot of family struggles as far
like
as,
family
Mm.
drama.
yeah, like what should they do as he got sick. But when he first had his symptoms of being more tired, it was actually Soraya that told her dad and I, and she said,
Mhm.
Mr. Main's been complaining that he's really tired, and that's unlike him. And he's a person that works out like all the time. Yeah.
The cat.
She wants to hold the cat too, so she's
Oh,
gonna try to bring Alana
okay. No
into.
problem.
She's a
So,
diva.
so you noticed that Mr. Main was really tired and you said something to your parents.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of like sensed there was something wrong, but we didn't. I think she's under the blanket or something. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to help my
It's
dad
okay.
out.
If you're listening to this and you're not watching, we're all trying to collect cats.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I've now collected Lenny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she noticed and she told us, like, you guys are doctors. My husband's a doctor as well. You need to find out what's going on. And we felt very awkward about asking him. So instead, Soraya's like, can I make him a care package? Do you remember making that for him? And
Hmm.
she got him a Cleveland Browns blanket because that's his favorite team. We got him what, multiple COVID tests. We got him cough drops and teas and candies and so then finally, I mean, Soraya kept bugging me, like, you need to reach out and see what's going on. So finally we did the uncomfortable thing and said, Soraya's really worried about you. I know that you probably don't want to talk to us about your medical symptoms, but if there's anything we can do to help. And he really didn't want to burden us. And he said that. He said, you guys have so much going on, and I've been going to doctors and they don't think anything's going on because, I mean, he used to work out every single day, and I guess he could only work out once or twice a week, but for him, that was a big change.
Hmm.
And so it was just really hard for anyone to see the impact of his symptoms. And then in the summer after Soraya finished sixth grade,
Okay.
he
I got the cat.
he had a sudden stroke, and we were contacted by his wife to let us know. And as he was in the hospital with his stroke, and they had done a scan of his heart. They found a bunch of vegetation, so he would have needed surgery. So they had him on a blood thinner, which then unfortunately caused a brain bleed. And then from that point on, as Soraya mentions, coma, he was in a coma for almost 8 months. and was trached and had a
Like,
vent and G
and like
tube.
switched a lot of rooms.
Yeah, he went from, yeah, we saw him at like two different hospitals and a care facility, and
Yeah.
really,
And
uh,
his like wife would go to work and then go to the hospital, just back and forth.
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
we got to know his wife extremely well, but we got to see how she did caregiving, right? She was working full time all the time to keep up with all the bills. And then immediately when she came back from work, she'd go right to the hospital.
Definitely.
And she was kind enough to let us in that space, which is incredible. And she
mhm,
let Soraya visit and she got to be with him.
Yeah, which is not a lot of most people would do, but I did it anyway.
mm.
And you had no
Totally.
fear. The first time she saw him with all the machinery, she climbed into bed and just curled up. And you guys watched.
Of course, I had fears in my head, but I wanted to like spend time at least.
Yeah, what were you
Mm,
afraid of?
Him dying,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. It's hard to see someone you care about and you've grown to have such a safe relationship with in such a vulnerable position, and hooked up to all these machines. And even though you've had all these medical appointments and experiences, it doesn't make it less hard.
definitely,
You have your cat now with you, and I know for me, when I start to feel some feelings, I try and get my cats and hold them, and I wonder if holding your cat's helping a bit as we talk about this kind of tough topic.
definitely.
she does. Yeah, this is like her spirit cat, Ohana.
Yeah.
Ohana. Oh,
It
it's a
went through a
lovely
lot
name.
of like health journey.
Oh gosh, should we tell them about Ohana?
Oh, we're gonna tell the whole story.
Yes, and I do want people listening just to know that Soraya does get tired talking. So many times I'm finishing her sentences, but
Yeah.
it's really like with her permission, and she has no problem telling me when I'm talking about something she doesn't want to talk about, or if we're not on the same wavelength as far as what she wants to say. And so the longer she talks, it gets a little bit more fatiguing for her, but she definitely wants a voice and definitely wants to share the story. So, Ohana, we got right after our Make-A-Wish trip, which was
Um,
Hawaii.
to Hawaii, and I think it was in what island was it?
Oh, it was in Oahu.
Yeah, we had to take like about 2 flights to get there.
It was two long flights, and since we were in Hawaii and we decided to get another cat, we have our first cat who's Prince, and
Who
Prince is like her big sister's spirit animal.
I would say he's not as bright, not very dumb, but also like he will look at you and then he'll sprint.
Yeah. And then there's Ohana, and we wanted another cat in hopes that she would be a spirit animal for Soraya. And she was in probably more ways than we could have imagined. About 3 weeks after getting her, she got diagnosed with a rare disease called FIP, or feline intestinal peritonitis. And we were kind of stuck with two options, and it was either putting her down or using an experimental drug that we would have to purchase and give her injections for 103 days. And so we went with the injections, and
Yeah, it was not good.
it was not a fun time for
Yeah.
Ohana.
We literally have to like put her on the table and then hold her front and back paws to like actually get it in.
Yes.
She'd
Yeah.
be like, I don't want it. I don't want it.
And so we almost lost her. And at the same time, it's like now that she's here, she is fierce. I mean, you want to talk about resilient?
Yeah.
This cat is, I mean,
Yeah.
she looks at your soul when she looks at you.
Yes, definitely like now her health is way better now. She doesn't have it anymore. But I remember when she was sick, she was like very shaky. I always had to put like the lamp on.
She'd always be cold and shaky, and her eyes were really watery, and she
Mhm.
had a really hard time gaining weight. So you saved her life.
Yeah, and then now she's a little bit like smaller just because of that.
Yeah, the illness like stunted her growth.
But
She looks quite docile and comfortable right now.
yes, she likes me holding her like a child. That's
Oh.
what she wants.
It's true.
She'd be
So,
like,
can I ask you a question, Soraya? So, because you have your family and so many people taking care of you, what was it like for you to take care of Ohana?
I think it was a very different type of journey, and I think I definitely wanted to spend a lot of time with Hana. Like I would just be in her room all the time, just like checking on her, or I'd be watching a show and she would be like cuddling me. But she was very sweet and like she used to like lick me and like kind of just did all that, like let her try to groom me like a cat would. But she just did that with me all the time and like was very close but very like clingy to me, definitely. And then yeah, kind of now she's older, she's kind of like that personality kind of changed after that. But
Yeah. She moves around a bit more. But I will say that I think
she's fun.
Soraya is the best caregiver, and I do compliment her on how she cares for the animals. I think the hardest thing sometimes is when she wants to pet, but then her hands get tired, and then she
Mm.
feels bad because then it's like gets harder for her to hold the cat because of the strength. But I think if she could, she loves babies, she loves kids, she loves animals. You're like an animal lover, though. You love
Yeah.
all
I
animals.
think also Ohana was a kitten that time.
Yeah,
So
she was a lot easier to
so
hold.
we kind of got Prince and Ohana were from
A breeder in New Jersey because I'm allergic to cats.
yeah, her eyes
People
were
are,
like crazy.
I would go crazy. Yeah,
But
it's
So
this
what
true.
type of cat is Ohana?
okay, so this is a very rare type of animal. It is called a Balinese hyperallergenic cat. They are related to ragdolls and many
Yeah.
type of
Yeah. They're
cats.
in the family of ragdolls and they're related to Siamese as well, but they are
Yeah.
Balinese.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, Before when you and I met, Soraya, you and your mom shared that you have some special talents and abilities.
Definitely.
And I'm just wondering if we can talk about that.
Sure, sure.
So you have the gift of being able to see beyond our physical realm and get
Definitely.
messages. I want to know a couple things. One, can you communicate with animals?
Okay. So I can by even like with Ohana too, I would literally we would put nose to nose and I would my head would just put the words into it. So it kind of just became a thing. So
But I don't feel like you do that with like Taco. Do you think
mm,
it's just with Ohana?
it's with all the cats. Like it can be like spaced or far apart. I just would sense it quickly.
You can sense it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you, since Mr. Main passed away, have you had any visitations from him?
Um, yes, I think when I found out, it definitely hit me hard, but also like I got more depressed, more hard on myself. It just like kind of turned into someone that I'm not with negativity. It was just like kind of hard to process and like I didn't mind hearing positive messages. It was just like physically hard, but like I don't mind it. But like sometimes I just like block people because like it's just doesn't feel the same because it's
Hmm.
not with him. And sometimes I'm like, I want advice from him specifically, and it's not really possible.
And so when that happens and there are times where you just start talking and I'll say, "Who are you talking to?" And you'll say, "Mr. Main."
Mm.
And so how often do you think you see him?
I see him a couple of times. He like kind of goes back and forth to like with his wife, then me, but just going back and forth.
Mm.
It used to be like I think since it's now like the winter time here, before like winter or summer, most like summer and spring, I would see a white butterfly every time at lunchtime. And so specifically that time was just
She was like, "I know that that's Mr. Main because it's a
Mm.
white butterfly and he was in the white wing."
yeah, and like I would see like multiple, I would see one, or they would that one would go back and forth. It's just like kind of like that type of thing. And
Mm.
now it's not there anymore because of like winter season.
But she says when she gets visits from Mr. Main now, it's like the voice is not the same. It's more that you get messages through a feeling. Like
Mm,
she can hear what he's saying, is how she describes it, but it's not
yeah.
like
I can't see them like what they're wearing or anything like that.
it's like a sense or a presence.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But she can
Yes.
also know when he's hugging her or hugging
Yes.
someone else or sitting next to her.
Yeah, and I also know like I don't know how I got this gift, but I could read like visible letters and I don't know how it just came a thing. And it kind of just like in family history, we kind of had spiritualness, and I think I had it more now, and I've like have it more often. And like there's like spirits I don't know, they just kind of just come back and forth.
Yeah, it used to be what she's trying to describe. It used to be just people that are like our close family is how it started.
Hmm.
And then as it's almost like as her body is getting more weaker, that connection is getting stronger. And so then it became where, anyone can
Yes.
say, "Oh, can you connect
Mm,
with this
yes.
person that's passed?" And she's
Yes.
able to bring them if they want to
Yes.
come. And then
Mm,
now she says it's like she is open to it. So she says she can see and feel spirits like in and out of her house that are strangers. And so oftentimes she'll share stories of people that have passed and like what happened
yes.
to them.
Okay, so one person that I was like telling my mom his name, we searched it and
She
it
gave me
was
a full name.
full name. And so we searched that full name and it was like a teen girl who gave another woman's her own heart. So
Like
Hmm.
she
we
had died of it. She died, but we don't know the condition. And then her parents um, donated her heart, and the recipient of her heart ended up doing some sort of like running flights of stairs or some sort of athletic feat where there was a lot of publicity around it, which is how we found it. But the person actually existed as far as this girl who is like Soraya's buddy.
yeah.
Um,
I literally had no clue I found a real name. I was like, what happened?
yeah,
What
so
was
that's
that
how
like for her? And
It
to
was
see that she
so
was,
different, but it was so random at the same time.
I will say she says it like so
Yes.
matter of fact. I think
Yeah.
that as a family, I think it's really
Yes.
tricky because
Like,
I think even
yes.
between her dad and I, we might have very different thoughts and views about this. And we have always allowed her to share and never say that it's not true because what she's experiencing is what she's experiencing. But I will say that in the time of this young lady, I think everybody in our family was like, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, when I talk to people, like, okay, hope I don't ghost anybody. I don't want to spook them out.
Yeah. So we all truly
Yes.
believe,
Um,
due to all of the
yes.
instances that have
Yes.
happened
Definitely.
and are happening way more
Yeah.
frequently.
Yeah. And actually remember, so I think when we first found out that Mr. Main passed away, the tradition, like, in our house
The air conditioning. Yeah.
went out and then it went back in.
Yeah. There's,
hmm.
It
yeah.
was like, it was like I had this like little like decoration and it was like moving back and forth.
Hmm.
So that was kind of when it kind of like experienced it. I think I didn't experience when I was a kid. I think when I first told my parents, then it kind of happened on that specific day, and then it just kind of happened more and more, and like kind of like that stuff. And like sometimes people were like, I know you're into spirits, but I don't really want to like talk about them or I don't want to feel them. And I'll be like, okay, we don't have to talk about that right now.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
also really tricky for Soraya because she's like such an honest person that
Mhm.
many times as she openly shares, she may not get the same feedback of openness about it. And so then she will kind of just be more like careful or like will hold off on sharing because she doesn't know if it scares people, if it makes them feel uncomfortable. For us as parents, we just want to make sure it doesn't make her feel uncomfortable. And so far, she's very matter of fact about it and she says it's not scary for her. And we've talked about, again, I don't know if this is what you do or not, but I always tell her that I feel strongly that if she doesn't want anything negative, that that's what she puts out in the world and that's what she does. And it's worked so far.
Well, you can always share with Alana and I. We love this. I wish I had that ability. As a reminder, like we lost both of our parents, and I had a few other losses. And when we were cleaning out our mother's house, anytime we were sitting in the living room together, the lamp would flicker. Do you remember that, Alana?
Yeah, I
And
do.
yeah, and it was just like our mom was coming to say hi. And like I just wish I had like I was a little like I know that I have these skills, but I'm just like there's a block there. So I think that's so beautiful that you have that ability, and I love I love hearing about it. So you can always talk to us about it. And Alana, actually, maybe you want to quickly share how you saw a couple cat mediums.
Oh, I love those.
Alana
Oh,
found out some funny stuff about her cat through cat psychics.
yeah, I've seen some cat psychics.
Soraya, do you want to know? Do you want to hear
Yeah.
about it?
Yes, I will.
Hopefully this is the truth.
Oh,
Because like
yeah.
I
some
hope so
Oh, yeah.
too.
She
Well,
doesn't
I'll
want
tell
it.
you.
She doesn't want you to get scammed.
yes.
Yeah, I
Because I've
appreciate
seen
that.
YouTube videos about it. I'm like,
And I think that's been interesting too, is having her see how other people can be scammers. And then sometimes she gets into these shows
like spiritual stuff
and,
too.
and then she like watches all ghost hunters, all mediums, all of that. And she actually gravitated towards that before I knew that she could do it. And then I'm like, "Oh, does this interest you?" She goes, "I think I could do this when I grow up because I can do this already." And so that was also like, oh, like it was very natural for her. But yes, let's hear about the
Mhm.
cat medium.
Well, I'll just tell Blair, if you're thinking of something specific, you jump in, but I'll tell you about the weirdest part.
Okay, so
So
is this the black one or the orange one?
Yeah, which
the
cat was it about?
the black and white one, so Molly.
Molly, okay.
So I've done it twice with two different people, and both had their pros. And the first one, she told the person, Molly told the person, I don't really have much to say right now, but my ear is hurting. And I was like, that's weird. Like, she has a lot of health issues, but never anything with the ear. Anyways, fast forward a week later. So, my cat also has a lot of complex stuff. She's got a plethora of things going on. So, she goes to the vet quite often. So, she was at the vet, and just for one of her checks, one of the things we do is we check like her blood platelet levels.
Oh, that's what we used to do with Ohana.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to
And
check on like her weight too.
Hmm.
her weight. Yeah, that's another thing. And so while she was there, I said to the vet, I'm like, okay, so this might sound a little silly. I saw a pet psychic last week, and she said I think it was the right ear. She said her right ear is hurting. I don't see any symptoms, but can you just humor me and check? So she takes like one of those ear light things, looks into the left ear, everything looks fine. Looks into the right ear, and Molly just kind of like makes like a motion with her ear. I'm like, oh, interesting. And she's like, that's interesting. Maybe it's a little bit inflamed. And so then she just wanted to make sure it wasn't just kind of like a fluke. So she tested it a couple more times with, I don't know what the medical term is, but those big popsicle sticks. Um, And same thing, left ear, no reaction, or vice versa, whatever it was. Right ear, same, like kind of like did that. So she did that twice. And so I thought that was pretty interesting because at first I was like, what? Like ear hurting, that makes no sense. And then there it was. Blair, did you have anything from when I went that stood out for you?
So that story, but also so Alana's cats' names are Molly and Lenny. But the
Hmm.
first psychic you saw, Molly calls Lenny, like doesn't call him Lenny, she calls him Phil.
Yeah.
And so we're Jewish, And Molly says that she's Christian.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
And so it's so funny because I now like look at Lenny and I just want to call him Phil.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
so,
know.
it's
I'm
so,
not saying my laugh right now because she's like, don't like that.
Do you want me to read?
oh.
Okay.
It's interesting though, because I named Lenny after our late father, Leonard. And so when they said Phil, I was like, that's so interesting because one of my best friends, her dad's name is Phil, and he actually had died too years ago. And so that was just a very interesting moment out of all the names and knowing that Lenny is named after my dad. And this was like 3 weeks after I got Lenny because I wanted to make sure that Molly was okay with
Oh,
Lenny.
adjustment. Yeah.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's really funny. And I thank you for sharing all of that, Soraya. You know, I think I think it's such a gift that you have that gift and that you're open. Okay, so just a quick, you could nod because I know you're getting tired and we'll wrap up soon. Do you often have experiences but you just don't tell your parents?
Okay. I'm a very honest person, but sometimes with my emotions, I don't know how to process them, and then I don't tell them because it's like hard for me to process those type of things.
Hmm.
Mostly that's like the things that I only do. Probably like for my sisters, I would hide my emotions. Like I'd be like, I can't talk about death, I can't talk about that, I can't talk about like specific things. And so like
Because they have a hard time talking about
yeah,
the
that's
deep stuff.
and then I'm always have to hold it in. And my parents didn't know that. I eventually told them, but like still like it was kind of naturally like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like spirits and stuff, I think that she
Yeah.
sees numerous and she doesn't tell us throughout the day because it's like there's so many.
Yeah.
It's almost like if she tunes out, like she doesn't see them, but then if I'm like, "Hey, can you see any?" It's like, "Oh, when we got our tree, we did Palo Santos, like, and I was like cleansing the house." And so she like looked up from her iPad and she's like, "Oh, you're getting a bunch out." Like she could like she was like, "Hey, can you hit up upstairs? There's a couple up there." And so
I
like
said a couple of bad spirits.
yeah, so like it's just stuff like that where it's so second nature. It would be like, oh, how often do you see a light bulb? It's like you see them all day, but you're not necessarily like stopping to say it. So
Hmm.
I definitely think that there's numerous. I have to specifically ask her, and it was just one time where I saw her whispering, and I'm like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" She's like, "Oh, Mr. Main." And so,
Oh,
and I'm like, "Oh, he's here." And she's like, "Yes." So I don't feel like she says, "Oh, someone's coming," or I
Yeah.
feel it. It's literally it's happening and then it passes and then she'll go on to doing her thing.
Yeah, because like I don't want to like make anyone feel overwhelmed with my
Yeah.
parents or anything like that.
That's also true. We have a lot of people coming in and out of our house with like the hospice workers and like the
mhm.
respiratory therapists and like
Yeah,
she doesn't know who she will offend or scare. Like we had our nursing agency the first time she met somebody and he came to tell her, well, he was just chatting with her and she brought up
spirit.
spirits. And I had no idea how this gentleman was going to react. So, and I don't, as you can tell, I don't hold back. Whatever Soraya wants to say, she says.
I'm honest. I talk about my spirituality, so
Yes. And
yeah.
so this guy was like, "Oh, can you look at a picture for me? I was hiking and there was these weird lights and my friends are teasing me about it, saying that they're spirits. Could you look at it?" And Soraya looked at it and what
I'll
did you
say.
say?
So I said that it was a male present, and he died by falling on the cliff, and he went there before, and so then it was kind of like he was trying to check them out, seeing what they're like, and they was like probably very protective for that mostly.
And so apparently there was a hiker that died by himself there. And so what she
Which is
did,
fact.
yeah, so what she described was actually true, like that had happened at that hiking site. And then he was like, "Oh my gosh, was it safe?" And so I was like, "Yeah, he's just curious because nobody watched him die, so he's kind of confused." and he's really checking out the space, and just wanted to see what people are there. And so again, just one of those things in it. And like the picture just had like this like green
Green
color, like
light.
green, like
An orb.
orb,
Yeah.
orbs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was like holding a green light. He was like holding that light, I think.
Yes. And many times
Oh,
when we take pictures of Soraya, there's like orbs around her. And so that is
Yeah,
also,
and we sometimes see like angel lights or
yeah.
kind of like those type of things too.
And it doesn't happen around anybody else.
well, I love
My
that.
mom or my older sister would know. Those are the only two people that know.
You
That
know,
know. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just going to say, when we first met, you had an experience about my dad, our dad.
Yes. I don't know if I even know if you remember you
Yeah.
I was showing you pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember what you
Yes.
okay.
I remember.
Do you want to share it?
I forgot because
You saw a picture and you said, "Oh, he looks a lot different now." And it was a picture that you had on social media. And I said, "Well, what do you mean that he looks different?" She's like, "He's older now." And I said, "Oh, well, I guess I never thought about this." I said, "In my mind, like you are the same age or like you would look the same at the time of your death." I said, "What happens after we die?" And Soraya says, "You get to choose. You get to
Mm.
choose what you like, if you want to like age, if you want to go younger, if you want to look different." And she said he wanted to age and he wanted to get older, so he doesn't look like that anymore.
I love that.
Wow.
And I also love that that experience happened because like again, like I think it's such a gift and to have these little tidbits about the people I love who've crossed over, who are no longer Earthside, I think is beautiful. And knowing that our dad chose to age is great because he didn't get to do it on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then it's also interesting. Like, I had no idea you get to choose your age. I mean, wow, there's so much to know of the things
Mm.
we don't know. And so we're
yeah,
gonna wrap up really soon. I know are you probably getting tired? So,
yeah. But I
yeah.
also don't mind talking as
o-
long as and
Okay, no problem.
Sweet.
Um,
I want to make sure we do this like how it is, like the
She
question.
wants you to do it like how you normally would.
okay. Well, don't worry, we are. But
Okay,
we
Yes.
perfect.
actually normally only have half an hour, but
Yeah, this is
Okay.
actually
this is a bit
longer.
longer
Okay.
than normal because
Yeah.
we are so excited and there's two of
Well,
you.
she did teach me a new fact about the afterlife, if it's okay to share. I asked her yesterday that if someone dies, does it take like a certain amount of time for her to be able to connect? Like, is this like in between period, like it's like so fresh? Do you have to like wait a week? Do you have to wait till after the funeral? And she says it's immediate, which I
Mm.
didn't know.
Whoa.
So I thought that was and I had asked about somebody, and I have to also like honor like when Soraya is
Yeah.
ready. And she said that since it was a child that I was asking about, that it was too painful for her to talk about. That yes,
Yeah.
she could connect with who I asked her to, but
Yeah.
she refused to share
No,
because she was like, it was too hard. It's too
this is
hard.
the most craziest story. So I was like telling her like I never met her uncle and I was like, hey, he parties a lot and he's
My uncle. Yes, he probably does.
and so my mom's like, yeah, he used to tell me stories about it all the time with me. And so like I knew it, but she didn't tell me. I just knew it right away.
She's never met him, but he's like my
Party
favorite uncle.
animal.
And for all my uncles that might be listening, he is my favorite uncle.
Oh, I love
Aw.
that. Okay, so switching gears a little bit. So you're in hospice. You're 13. You have the best nails I've ever seen. Show us your nails.
Yes, I wanted to comment
Are
on
those
them.
Christmas nails?
Yeah.
They
Oh
look
my
like a
God, they're
candy
so good.
cane nail
Do
and
you find that they get in the way? They're so long.
Everybody asks her. She's the pads of her fingers.
Literally like not like the actual like it's a fake like they have to like fit it to like see what fits on the
Yeah,
finger and
yeah.
then they have to match the
I used
size.
to actually have nails that were maybe half the length. Like I used to have long nails, but I had to stop because I developed an allergy. But I've been getting my nails done since high school. And now I
Mm.
wear press-ons, but your nails are always phenomenal.
while we're on the topic, I just noticed, Soraya, you have a similar thumb to Blair and I.
Oh no, are you one of our siblings? Let's see your thumb.
Dude,
Side.
go to the side.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You
Oh
too.
my gosh! We call it the Kaplan thumb. You have a Kaplan thumb. We're like thumb sisters. Our
Yes.
dad's was like that.
we don't
Gotcha.
often see thumbs like that, so I had to make a comment. I think it's the coolest thing that our thumbs can bend that far back.
Yeah, because I'm very posable. I can,
You're very hypermobile.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
even like twist my arm together,
Woo!
literally.
Like
Hmm.
a um so I think, a lot of people are listening to this episode. And there's probably a fair amount who have teenage children or people in their life who are teenagers. And you are in a unique situation and you're in hospice. What message do you have for the other teens out there? So if you're listening to this and you have a teenage friend or child of a friend, you know, Soraya's wise, very, very wise, and she always has such great advice. And
So
this
do
is
you
the
want me to talk to like teen, like special needs teen, or like
whatever
Anyone.
advice you feel called to share just to people who are living their lives, and
I think try your best to like be open with your emotions.
be open with your emotions.
Hmm.
Yeah. Have you always been very open with your emotions?
Um, yes, but I think I have like very heavy emotions. That's kind of what I have. Like people can say they have strong feelings, but mine's more heavier.
I
Yeah.
think this is probably a
Yeah.
struggle right now is that she's always been open, but now that her emotions are so heavy, she's realizing that the people, even those that love her, are having a harder time
Yeah.
hearing her
Yeah.
heavy feelings, and it
Yeah.
is really conflicting for her.
Yeah, because like my sister, we have a very distant relationship and we don't talk. We kind of just we always like are like at the table quiet. We just kind of have like our ups and downs, but like I feel like the downs are kind of coming more often. And
Mm.
since because I have these heavy emotions, I think it's always coming from the grief of Mr. Main, and I think it was like it hit me really hard, so it kind of became heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy. Like you lost your best friend and
Yeah.
you're living in a state of there's this anticipatory grief within your family and then you had this it sounds like a fairly sudden like health issue with Mr. Main that you lost him and he was that person that was there for you. So that's like your heavy feelings are so valid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it makes sense, like I think by you grieving Mr. Main, I would wonder if people like your siblings see that grief and maybe they don't want to even come close to that grief because they're not ready for it yet and ready for when the time comes, Soraya, when you transition.
And that's, I think for her, she's actually been able to say it pretty well. She said, as soon as Mr. Main died, she felt the internal clock ticking for her, where she feels like
Like
she's
instinct.
next. And so
Yeah.
that clock ticking is making her feel like she wants to make the best connections specifically with her sisters
Yeah.
as soon
Hmm.
as possible. But while we're trying to honor that they're not ready yet,
Yeah,
creates a huge discomfort for her because she's like, time
definitely.
is so precious and time is
Mhm.
running out, and I want to make
Definitely.
this right. But then she's also not able to be her full self because the
And
heaviness
it's
is so much that she's
yeah,
holding back because they're
yes,
just not
definitely.
comfortable.
And like since I have the grief of Mr. Mean, I kind of lost my happiness and joy. And like the only one thing that does bring me joy is like being with my one of my two friends, and so kind of just which I'm gonna hang out with them this weekend.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah, you've got some good friends.
Um, that is heavy. And I think it's one of those things where maybe you find those micro moments of joy and happiness. They don't need to be these big things, but maybe you and your sister share a giggle or something
Yes, that
happens.
we've been doing. But
So,
yeah,
Soraya's
yeah.
an Aries, and she's very impatient.
Mm.
So she is like, that joke was fun. We had a good time shopping together. Now, when can we be besties?
Oh,
yeah,
That's what she wants.
because like Aries are very much of like leaders, and so that's kind of
That's you, girl.
I feel like that's what it comes from.
Yeah.
I love that.
Totally.
So I think, Alana, do you have any other questions? Because I have two more final questions.
Okay, you take it away.
Okay. So this I have one for you, Soraya, and then I have one for you, Tasha. And we're gonna end on the question with Tasha. But Soraya, if you had a chance, I know you talk to Mr. Main now in his spirit form, but what message or what do you wish you had a chance to say to him while he was still here?
So I feel like on when it happened on the Monday morning, like I kind of wish that I could tell him goodbye before he left. That
Yeah.
was one of the biggest things. And like since I found out my health, I'm living longer, and I was like, I wish Mr. Main had that too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's hard. Um, and Dr. Tasha Faruqui, what message do you have out there for parents who are in a similar position to you with a teenager or a child in hospice?
I think one is just perspective. I do think that initially when Soraya entered hospice, I was looking at this as a hard obstacle that we had to get through before we could find joy. However, when your child's life is life limiting, there's nothing to get through because once
Mhm.
she's gone, there's going to be just even more pain. And so really
Definitely.
learning how to hold both.
Yeah.
And even when things are bad, like still go intentionally
Yeah.
find something fun to do
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
laugh. And it's okay to have a heavy life. And we talk about this all the time. Things are so heavy, and it's okay that we go do something fun and enjoy ourselves. It doesn't make all the sadness go away, but you can actually have room for both things. And I think that is what I'd want to share with other families, and that you're not alone. Because truly, it's the loneliness that gets us all. It makes us feel like nobody else is experiencing this. And I think it's helpful to know that there just should be more people talking
Yeah.
about it.
And like I
Hmm.
think one of my favorite Mr. Main sayings were like, "What will you bring today?" And like that
What
was
greatness will you bring today?
yes, and so like that was his very strong saying, and so it's when I found out that one, it was hard for me to physically process it because I was like, I wish Mr. Main said this advice to me and like all that kind of stuff.
That you could hear it from him. Yeah.
Have you, sorry, this is just a sidebar, but have you ever taken the time to write down all the advice that he's given you so it's in written form?
You have been.
Um, I think this is gonna sound funny, but also a unique story. So so there was this tissue box, and I was like, wait, I was like, you know what? Wait, this does not look decorated enough. So I decided to put sayings, and then I added his name on there, like his last name, and then I put his saying on there as well.
So yeah, she put it all over the Kleenex box.
It's a funny story, but
All of
I
his
just
things.
really want, I'm kind of crafty, so
Yeah, you are
Ooh,
crafty.
I love
yeah.
it. I'm crafty too. I love crafting. Um, I think that's really beautiful. And I love that, what greatness will you bring today? Is that what it is?
Hmm.
Definitely.
So, so wise and so beautiful. And I absolutely love that. And
Hmm.
he was very lucky to have a friend like you and Alana and I and her cats are so grateful that you
Yeah.
two ladies and Ohana joined us today on Resilient AF. We are so grateful that you're joining us and that you're both of you are going to have a story in
Yeah.
Resilient AF Stories of Resilience Volume 3. You can learn more about Mr. Main and Tasha's journey. And we're just so excited to celebrate you in March with a billboard in Times Square. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah.
Very excited, but I'm always nervous about these occasions.
Nervous excitement.
Oh yeah, the same feeling. You just get to decide what to call it.
Yeah. And when
The
it's a good
butterflies.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alana, do you want to wrap up? Okay, I'll wrap up.
Okay.
Well, thanks to everyone for tuning in to another episode of Resilient AF. Just remember, you are not alone. It's okay to not be okay. Let us be that lighthouse in the storm. And just remember, friends, you are Resilient AF. That's a wrap for another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana. And thank you for listening. Are you feeling inspired to bounce forward?
Let's connect at theglobalresilienceproject.com, where you can read many stories of resilience, buy our books, shop our clothing line, learn more about how to strengthen your resilience muscle, be empowered, and more.
Remember, friends, you are Resilient AF.